All good, guys. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. Live betting is the best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or a momentum after a turnover. So, live spread money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your bet on all NFL season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. I also have 3 winning tickets today from my friend Darren. He won $928 on the first ticket. This is our buddy Darren Smith.
He wins every few days.
I literally told him he might be too good, but he won $928 on this ticket. Next one, he won $113 on another ticket he sent me last night.
Darren again?
And then he won $845 on this ticket.
Wait a second, all 3 of these are him?
All 3 are him.
Never mind, you can't send me that. I can't.
Darren,
I can't bet on the NFL.
I mean, what do you? He's got the Midas touch there. That's like $2,000 worth of winnings.
You got one of them Cavs parlays. Send it through.
He has missed the parlay, Darren. Jeez. All right, let's get back to the
what was I saying?
So you say you was like, this is crazy because this is where like I get.
Oh yeah, I think I was going to. This is where I think I'm kind of conflicted with, what's going on over there is that like we're not about to sit here and act like everything is just great with the Browns. Like this EPA thing, we're not going to sit there.
It factors these things in.
There's no way.
Telling you.
There's no way.
There's
no way. Like there's no way
Here's
that
the
they
problem.
factor everything in. Because if you factor everything in, you're not going to tell me that this is the worst quarterback ever.
Let me just say this. Obviously, I agree. He's not. He's of course not the worst
That's a lie.
There's flaws in all stats, right? Just like there's flaws in the eye test too, because 2 people can see the same thing and look at it differently.
Well,
there's no perfect stat. There's no perfect answer. Shedeur Sanders is he's a polarizing figure because I think too many people are allowing their emotions about this to cloud their judgment on the player. On both sides of this, I think we're seeing a lot of this. He's my guy. He's not my guy. And you can't say anything bad. I think we're getting a lot of this. I know you don't do that. I don't do it either, but we're seeing a lot of this.
Because I'm not – go ahead, Anthony.
Well, I was going to say, this actually kind of ties into the question that I wanted to pose today for the first topic, guys. Depending on what side you're on, what do you think is the best case scenario for the Browns in these last 2 games? Do you want to see Shedeur play well, lock in his spot for next season, and win the 2 games, or would you rather them actually lose out and get better draft capital?
I don't know that. I don't know.
If Shedeur Sanders want to be the starting quarterback for 26, undoubtedly win the next 2 games.
I don't know that locks it up.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, because it knocks you down out of the top. You'd be top 6.
Yeah, you definitely.
Okay, Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza are gone, so therefore you're not going to reach. If you decide to package up your picks to get a quarterback, that you putting yourself in the exact same situation that we're in, because now you're one less player that you could have gotten to help your roster. So to me, it would be asinine to do that.
But if there's whoever the GM is, whether it's Andrew Berry or something else, isn't there a possibility that whoever the GM is doesn't think Shedeur's the answer?
Oh, that's absolutely.
And could just bring in a veteran to be the quarterback next year?
I mean, that's not what money.
They do got a quarterback. It's Deshaun Watson.
I'm saying there's guys you can get. What do you mean want money? There's always a way around these things.
Apparently,
or it could be Deshaun Watson. I guess
we strapped for cash this offseason.
There's always a way around.
That's what they telling me.
I look at it this way, man. Look. If you just read the tea leaves, let me just look at it, right? Look at what's happened. If I always go to this, the thing that I get is, we do this thing where the people in the building is telling me this, the people in the building is telling me this, the people in the building. Man, like I said yesterday, them people in the building is getting fired. Like that, let's just be real about that. Let's just stop tap dancing. They came out with the report, said Andrew Berry gonna be here, and most likely the coaching staff will not.
I don't know that that's true. I mean, who
reported it?
Ian Rappaport.
He didn't get everything right.
I guess we
don't
can
get
pick
everything wrong.
I think Andrew Berry's going to keep his job and Stefanski's going to get fired.
This is a huge, it's not like Joe Schmo said this. It's like Ian Rappaport said.
I know, but he gets it wrong plenty of times.
I mean, so we got to pick and choose what we.
No, I'm just saying. You're saying it as if it's a guarantee.
I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but if you come out and say the coaching staff is most likely up out of here, and you get that report, and multiple people are reporting it. For me, as a civilian, it's kind of tough. Like, because we can't just pick and choose what we want to believe based on whether or not it lines up with our worldview. Yeah. Like, if that's a big name and he's reporting it, he's obviously doing it with some sort of backing to that.
Maybe, and things could also change.
Things could change. So if I'm going with that premise, the thing is, when you say people in the building say, the reason why people get so up in arms is we've heard people in the building say this type of stuff all year, and they have not just been incorrect, they have been in left field. They tried to sell us on Kenny Pickett. Like, we didn't see Kenny Pickett play here and be garbage and laugh at Kenny Pickett when he played against the Browns. But all of a sudden, because the front office and the coaching staff said Kenny Pickett was our guy, the information start pumping out, Pickett this. We know Kenny Pickett ain't no good.
Well,
we know that.
Well, but then why are we going to believe the information now from Ian Rappaport?
Well, here's what I'm thinking.
What I'm saying. I don't get what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, all of the information that they were talking about has been patently, completely false.
Talking about the Browns.
The Browns.
Okay.
Not Ian Rappaport.
Not Ian Rappaport. The Browns then said, okay, we're going to roll with Joe Flacco. Okay, that's what's up. Y'all gave him 4 shots, shipped him off to Cincinnati, and then guess what he did? Right. He threw for all these yards. Then you say, okay, hold on. We got the supercomputer, Dylan, top 100 pick. People around the league like him better. We seen Dylan.
Nobody said that. Come on. Nobody was saying that.
Nobody was saying that Dylan Gabriel gave them the best chance to win. They said that openly.
The Browns.
Again, the Browns. Yeah,
right.
So here we go.
All right.
So let's keep this program going. Yeah. Then they told us that if Shedeur Sanders got in a football game, that it would be 3, 4, 5 times worse.
Well, only the Browns didn't say that.
They said it would be worse.
The Browns didn't say that.
Well, who you think was telling them? They just all said that? They just came up with it on their own? So when he got in the game, I'm trying to bring it home.
1 or 2 people said it to everybody.
These are major figures.
What I would say about all of this is that the Browns put themselves in a situation where fans can't trust what they say. That's
fair.
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Because of just, again, I've already pointed out the 2 biggest lies that Kevin told this season. And then you think about, there's also become this feud now where you got the old school mind of football who can look at the game and say this person is good or bad. But then you got the analytic people that say, well, analytically, this guy is good or bad. And the problem with that is we've been dealing with analytics for 6 years, and it's
right. But every team uses analytics.
Yeah, but but you know the Browns are like
right. But what I'm saying is
the leaders of it.
I don't know that they're the leader. If they were the leaders, they'd be good at it. The Eagles are the leaders of it.
Well, they're second.
Yeah,
we have done nothing for 6 years but try to be what the Eagles are, and for some odd reason, the Eagles get it right, and
because they have good people who are balancing. Because the smart teams balance analytics and gut. No good team is just using gut. Well, don't listen to that nonsense.
But also,
I heard Darryl Ryder yesterday say Kevin Stefanski's not even deciding whether to go for 2. It's just the analytics team. I don't believe that for a minute. And by the way,
it better not be.
If that's true, then Stefanski should be fired for allowing that to happen. That would be disgraceful. There's no way I can't believe that that's true.
I had a problem with Nathan Zagura came out.
Yeah.
And we had a problem with how many carries Nick Chubb was getting. He came out and said the analytics department has partnered with the coaching staff, and they believe that Nick Chubb has diminishing returns after 16 carries, and they like to keep him in that range. And I said,
honestly,
what? Who said this?
I mean, Nick Chubb most years was like third or fourth in the league in touches.
But here's
so that was overstated.
No. What I'm saying is the context is when you are in the middle of a football game, I don't need some dude with a Palm Pilot calling down, talk about, Nick Chubb has 18. He's there. Don't tell me about the 16 carries.
Nobody wants
Give him the ball.
No, nobody wants that. But okay, Tyvis. So you're a neutral observer.
I am very.
You're not.
I am always Switzerland.
Now he said you're neutral. I'm biased. Go ahead.
Has Shedeur Sanders, in your opinion, forget who's coming out, forget who they might get.
Okay.
In your opinion, what you've seen from Shedeur Sanders, if 10 means you're sure he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, and 1 means there's no chance he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, where are you as of what you've seen so far?
I am probably, I'm like on the 6 or 7.
6, 7.
Yeah, I'm somewhere there because the thing about Shedeur is, again, you can't deny the fact that he's gotten better week to week to week, right? So,
no, it's been up and down. It's not been straight line, which it never is. It never is.
Like I said, he's a rookie.
There has been improvement.
He's given me moments where I was like, man, this dude's playing quarterback as good as anybody in the league. And then there's moments where I'm like, I don't know what you doing on that one. So, obviously, it's always chasing consistency. I always tell you, as a young player, you always want to be consistent in what you do. And I just can't deny the fact that, like, given some of the circumstances, like, I don't know. See, my problem with this is I don't know if I'm like, is it because I've been watching the Browns for so long? Like, for example,
you've lowered your standards?
Yeah, for example, like, the whole thing this year was about 20 points, getting to 20 points.
Yeah.
Shedeur has eclipsed 20 points, 3 times? 3 times out of his start?
3 times.
Like, to me, if a team gets 21 points, to me, it's not like, oh, the game's over. But with Dylan and Joe, I was over. We not scoring that.
Right.
The fact that he's doing that, like scoring 20 points, and gives me that hope with what he has to work with, to me, it's like, wow, it makes me wonder, like, man, if he had a good offensive line and if he had some receivers that can win their routes, would that be better? Then the next thing is, well, he doesn't read coverage and all those things well. And it makes me think about, okay, with any young quarterback, right? Not a lot of quarterbacks come into the league just being able to read coverage because the NFL is good. The disguises are much better than college. But when you get some of these quarterbacks, they usually have at least one guy that, like, if I don't know the coverage, I'm going to him. Like, I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna give him the ball. You know, Joe Flacco was notorious when we get Judy involved.
Well, that's Fannin. That's the guy he goes to.
Right. So when you look at a lot of things, the first thing he does is look for Fannin. But Fannin is not like Fannin is good.
Yeah.
But Fannin should not be your leading guy.
Right,
like,
no.
It's not like he's Brock Bowers or something, or Travis Kelce or something like that. Like, I would love to see him with a wide receiver that wins consistently. So, like, all right, if I don't know it, I can at least go to him and at least get something. Then we talking about him holding the ball and all of those things. Yeah. And then this last game against the Bills, who we came out and we all said before the game, no matter what you say now, we said that the Bills' defense was going to be the best defense that he was going to see, statistically wise, analytically wise. Right. He was going to see.
Right.
He put up 20 points and had a chance to win the game at the end. Like,
but he didn't play particularly good.
Yeah, but it's stuff like that where it's just like it's something there. Like, to say that he's the worst just bothers because it's like you can't, like, some of the throws he's making. I'm like, it's something there.
I agree. You cannot listen. Where the angst comes in is, listen, I'm going to tell you, listen, I like numbers and their stats, but I'm going to just keep it a buck. It's something to be said for them folks that's up on that football field. When I do breakdowns and I bring it in, I bring in other cats. I bring Tyvis in to break down the film. And when we watch it,
we 100.
We 100.
We ain't saving nobody.
We ain't saving nobody.
But let's be fair. If the stats said Shedeur was good, everybody that supports Shedeur would be using those stats. 100%.
And the stats 100%. And the stat that people is glossing over, if you telling me you're one of only one rookie quarterbacks that ever in the history of this game, in the modern era, throw for 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 on the ground. And that is a stat. Those are numbers. That is record books. If you say, he's the first Cleveland Brown since 1990 to win his first game. He did it on the road. Those are stats. So people are using those stats.
Right.
What we're saying is, if I just saw you throw for 300, and at the time, no other rookie quarterback, even Jackson Dart, even Cam Ward, even Tyler Shook, nobody had thrown for 300.
Right, but what I'm saying is that's the Shedurians
are going to pick the good stats.
Will only pick the stats that they like, and there's not many.
Isn't
that true though? Will you admit?
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
There's a lot of people.
Everybody's going to pick and pick the stats.
And stats can be anything that you want them to be. And I did Ultimate Browns today.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you take stats in a vacuum and you do not take stats and use them in context.
Well, you just did the same thing with the stats you gave.
But what I'm doing is, I'm showing totality. So if you're going to use EPA and say he's the worst of all time, somebody can also then say, well, no, he's the greatest of all time because look what he did in the history books, right?
Right.
But you can also take and say, well, let's take a look at the people around him, Bull. Let's look and see what the people around him are doing. And then you say, okay, well, let's take a look at PFF grades. And then people like Jay say, I don't believe in PFF.
Right.
The problem is if you automatically disqualify for yourself, you're not being intellectually honest because you can't want people to love your EPA stat. But when the stat don't agree with you based on PFF, you turn around and say, I don't like that.
But aren't you doing the same thing?
No.
Well, you're ignoring EPA for a stat you like.
No. Here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it all together.
Yeah.
How I like to talk, here's how I do it.
Yeah.
I like to do it two ways, and it's the best way. You take a look at the film. You take a look at EPA. You take a look at PFF.
Yeah.
You go talk to some scouts. You go talk to some former coaches and head coaches and former players.
Right.
And then what you do is look at the context and the team around him and make an informed decision based on all of the data and that is presented to you.
Some of that data is not going to be good.
And some of them will be good.
And some of it will be.
And some of it will be bad.
All right.
You see?